appreciate having smoking circles because I'm not a smoker, and it's nice having places that are now designated specifically for smoking. That way, if people want to avoid smoke, that's not near any other smoking circles, so it is convenient for people who live both in Founders and Mills. So that's definitely a positive thing for them to have a place that's closer to go rather than the parking deck or up behind the cafeteria. However, the location of the smoking circle, which is right by the entrance to the Botans, sometimes poses a problem because for people who don't smoke or don't like the smell of smoke, walking to and fro, either from the ridges or just going into the Botans or out of the Botans, has surface issues.
We live in the substance-free residence hall, so the reason why I make the choice here is because we don't like being around that kind of stuff like smoke. So an issue is that the smoke sometimes flies. It like drifts over to Southridge and we can still smell it. And another issue is if we're like going from the ridges to, let's say, the dining hall, the fastest way is to go through the botanical gardens on that little pathway, and so whenever you're like huffing and puffing along on the stairs, you get to the top and you're like, and then you get a mouthful of smoke, so it's not exactly the most pleasant of experiences.
As people, I don't mind that they smoke, I just would prefer that it wasn't right through the shortest route.
Okay,
to
so
get
one
anywhere.
time, like, some guy was like talking about my ass when I walked through, and it made me feel really awkward because it's like I used to walk there all the time to get my packages, and it's like I didn't stop walking through there because people were there, because it's like, you know, it's whatever, people are there, cool, but like
I think
it was
that's a
just kind of
fine
awkward
place.
sometimes.
I'd say if some of the people who go walk in the Botans have a problem with it, then they should move them. But I mean, it is like behind a building in a parking lot, so I think that's as good a place as any.
Well, the smoking rules keep changing every year, and at the beginning of the semester, this is one of the 3 designated smoke areas that I was aware of, and the most central to all my classes. Out of nowhere, they decided that it was no longer a suiting place for us to smoke, and they've reduced the number of smoking areas. I don't know what they expected. If for everyone to walk all the way to one end or the other end of campus, there's a lot of safety issues with that. There's a lot of mobility issues, and a lot of people just don't want to walk that far. People are going to smoke here, regardless of whether it's a designated smoking area or not.
And it's kind of absurd how far some people have to go if they just want to have a smoke between classes or after doing some homework late at night, especially with
a lot of my friends are in that smoking circle, so I mean, like, I think they should have it because, I mean, it's right there, it's convenient, they like it there. Obviously, that hasn't worked yet, so I mean, like, you can take it away, but they'll still probably consider it their smoking circle.
That one kind of seems to be kind of rowdy sometimes. It seems like a really good, like, hangout spot for smokers, which is, like, good for them, but I don't know how troublesome they've been for other people.
For those, but I don't think you should generalize them all as a problem or kind of be biased towards them as a group. But if individuals make the wrong choices, then they can get in trouble for those
choices. They take the signs down, they can take the bench away. At the end of the day, people are still going to go there and smoke because, 1, it's where they've been going, and 2, it's not just about where they go to smoke, it's about who they meet.
I don't think many students were. I think the big reason is when you take people on groups, it doesn't look good. You just have a bunch of groups to tour the campus, whatever. It doesn't look good to have a bunch of kids smoking and being rambunctious, whatever. I think you want it to seem like it's dorm blocks. Everybody's in their own little box, and that way the other students don't get scared if they're not about that type of thing. But I don't know. I think that it is definitely decreasing. I mean, I think it's kind of constricting the way the social dynamic is working because people aren't able to meet like-minded people as easily. I mean, I don't live in the dorms anymore, so I don't know for sure, but it seems like that was one of the major ways to just kind of get out there.
Personally, I don't mind the smoking circle around behind Mills. I don't smoke and I don't love the smell, but I mean, they're people and it's kind of fun to see how the other half lives, I guess. But it doesn't bother me.
Don't smoke and I don't go outside.
It seems like it's a pretty good place to socialize while people are smoking, and I can definitely see the pros and cons of that from people who maybe want to smoke, also want to interact more with the community and maybe meet other people who are also related to them smoking wise. But then I can also see the con part of it, where people who live in mills or people who don't like smoking, who seem to really dislike smoking, or seeing them can be irritated.
To be honest, I don't mind it. I feel like everyone deserves a place where they can enjoy whatever they enjoy. Smoking is fine. The only problem is, I think personally, the trash on the ground. Like if people picked up their trash or threw it in the trash cans, there'd be no issue with me. Like I personally wasn't opposing it, but that's the only problem I see with it.
I think like the trash part was like the most disturbing to see. Like it wasn't just cigarette butts everywhere, but like food wrappers. And I mean, like we're in the middle of the Botans, and it's supposed to be like nature and pretty, but it's
It's better than it was before. Maybe it's the cold weather and people just aren't coming out. But even though people still smoke there, they don't gather in the massive crowds that they did before, and don't come by on Mondays and find vomit and stuff all over the place. So I think it's a little bit better.
It's no longer cleaned up by the janitorial service. It's dirty as shit now. I mean, it got dirty as shit like on weekends, but like janitorial service, like some people, like I remember one of the first couple weeks of school, I went out there with a brush and I cleaned shit up, and it was just like, just let us smoke, man. Just give us a space.
I don't even smoke cigarettes, but it's just like people should have that right and a space to be able to do that that's convenient for them if they want to do that. And it's not even about the cigarettes, it's about like the community that we've built in that area, and just taking that away from us and not even giving us a new place we can go.
Just having a shitty day or something and come like bum a cigarette and talk to somebody for a little while. And I think it was reassuring for everyone, and I think it made everyone's transition a lot easier into college.
What's your name?
Even as a non-smoker myself, it's kind of cool to just hang out with people who do smoke. I mean, they're just normal people. I don't really see them as like different than anybody else. They just made that lifelong choice.
Like some of my new best friends there, and some of these people have like more personality, like in one like pinky, than most other students have in their whole body. Like it's crazy, and they're really beautiful people. And what you have to understand in a society is that they're like, if you're gonna make a society a smoker society or a not smoker society, like the two societies still exist, and you can't just push one out of the way because like what more of a majority are like of the other side. Like you have to accept both, and you have to make space for them. Like we're next to, can I cuss?
Yeah.
We're next to like these fucking dumpsters that smell like shit, and we're forced to smoke cigarettes there, like, and it's like the closest place. I'm not gonna walk up the hill to, like, when they close the spot, they're like, you can walk up to the hill behind the calf and smoke there, and no, it's a hike, and like, and people with other habits, like, you need to go drink a cup of coffee, like go up the hill and do it. Like, no, fuck that.
Honestly, as a non-smoker, I'm not a big fan of it, but I know that in this day and age, people are very open and very supportive of having their rights and being able to do what they want, when they want, as long as it's legal. So I know it's something that people have to deal with, whether they like